Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the second episode of the African CEOs Insight. My name is Aibami Adedin. The African CEOs Insight is a platform where senior decision makers come to share strategies to a sustainable energy future. And today, I have as guest Olasimbo Sojourn. Simbo is a powerful voice promoting renewable energy and women empowerment in Nigeria. She is currently the country director for Solar Sister Nigeria, where she leads a network of women entrepreneurs, and she's one of Nigeria's leading clean energy advocates. Hi, Simbo. It's nice to meet you.
Hello, Yobami. It's great to be here. It's great to be here.
Okay, awesome. So I would like to jump into the conversation. In your opinion, what are some of the barriers to a sustainable energy future, and how do you think these barriers could be overcome?
Oh, wow. Yes, I think there are quite a number of barriers that we're facing right now in this sustainable energy drive that we have. And I'm just going to list a few and talk about possible ways we can overcome them. So a very big one is the economic and financial barriers. So right now, the world seems to be looking at the environment as part of the economy. And I feel like there needs to be a shift. We need to look at the economy as part of the environment and ensure that everyone who is running a business or working in that economy is doing it in such a way that the environment is prepared. And I feel like there's a lot of the world, the way we've done the world, if you look at fossil fuels, for instance, and we look at how a country like Nigeria is putting a lot of subsidies on that, it's putting an unfair competition for renewable energy. And it's actually hurting what should make our world more sustainable, by encouraging fossil fuels that's actually damaging the earth. So I feel like this is one of the key things that we need to work on. And of course, the second one is market-related barriers. So if we've all identified renewables as a climate change mitigating factor, one of the things that makes it more accessible is that it is affordable and it is acceptable. And if you look at a lot of renewable energy technologies, the initial investment is high. And so, the world still needs to work on that to ensure that we can overcome these market-related barriers so that more people can get access to using renewable energy. Another one that I see really strongly is I don't know if I'll call it innovation barrier, which is the lack of, promoting local innovation. We find that a lot of the solutions that are available in our market are solutions that were developed outside of our continent or outside of our country to try and solve a problem inside. And so I feel like if we can work more inward, promote our local innovation, we're able to get solutions that fit closer to challenges that we have, the challenges that we face in here. And also, of course, we can't go without naming like the social barrier. So the way, the way we interact, the way we live, so the way we've been using energy, the way we've been interacting with energy all these years. Sometimes it creates a barrier to introducing a new thing. And so we need to work on things like behavior change. So for instance, someone who's been cooking with firewood all their life, you need to work on behavior change in order to make that shift from cooking with firewood to a cleaner sort of energy. And so these are some of the social barriers that we need to also address. Also, if you look at the imbalance in how the rich, use energy, and that's also closely linked to like fossil fuels, and you see that they are the ones who are the biggest culprits in terms of polluting the environment. And yet you find that a lot of the solutions for the mitigation comes, with with less wealthy. So there's also an imbalance there that I think that needs to be addressed. Then, of course, there's the political barrier, which is, having that political will to be able to do what it takes. So, Nigeria, for instance, we've set this big goal. We've said we want to do 30, 30, 30. We want to have 30% of our 30 gigawatts by 2030 to be renewables, right? We've set this big goal. How much of that have we worked towards? And so you need to look at, after you set the goal, what are the actions that we are doing as a country to get those goals? So, sometimes a lot of our challenges, because a lot of those big changes can sometimes be made by like a political decision. So that's why I feel like that's a big barrier, and it's something that we need to address closer. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about data, because that's something that we lack really heavily. So we don't really have the monitoring and evaluation systems in place. We estimate all the time. We don't really know how much metric tons of CO2 we have in our environment. For instance, in Nigeria, we don't know what we need to offset. All of these things affect the planning, energy planning, affect sustainable energy. And so we need to invest in data. We need to invest in research to ensure that, we are dealing with accurate things. We're not just using our whim or using guesses. We're actually using data. We have a systematic way of collecting this data and analyzing this data and using it towards sustainable energy. So I think these are some of the barriers that, I think over the course of the time that I've worked in this space, I have identified, and I think that we can do something about as a country.
Okay, great. So, as the country director for an organization, right, that seeks to empower women, I'd like to know how successful has Solar Sister been, and how do you measure your success?
Okay, so for us, it's always been a dual focus. So the way our name is Solar Sister. So the solar there represents clean energy access, the technology. And then the sister for us represents women's economic empowerment, what represents gender. And so for us, it's always been a dual focus, and we have seen that energy is not gender neutral. So the way we use energy in our communities, in our homes, is not gender neutral. If you take a look at all the household activities, who is responsible, especially in this part of the world, who is responsible for maybe how food is cooked in the home, or household chores or things that happen in the house traditionally, you find that is women. If we look at energy poverty as well, which is the lack of energy, clean energy, if you look at it and look at all the disadvantages or all the challenges that are associated with it, you find that it affects women in a disproportionate way. And so for us at Solar Sister is, how do we address that? How do we address that gender imbalance in the way energy is consumed, as well as how do we promote clean energy access? Because we understand that there is energy poverty and this needs to be addressed. So for us, it's using that dual strategy, knowing that, yes, we are about promoting clean energy access, but we're doing this through women's economic empowerment. And we know that there are lots of ripple effects that come with that. So when a woman is financially empowered or economically empowered, the benefits transcend not just her, but transcends to her entire family and her community. So we've seen that, when the woman is empowered, for instance, the proceeds, and this is backed by research, her proceeds are used for the entire family. So Solar Sisters is not just empowering just the woman herself, but her family and her community. And for us, we measure success by how many women, so how many women entrepreneurs are in a network. And so far across Africa, we have over 6,000 women entrepreneurs. In Nigeria specifically, we have over 2,000 women entrepreneurs, and they're spread across 26 states in Nigeria. And we try to go to the last mile. So we go to the underserved communities, areas where they're off the grid or their transformer has paused for several years and they have no access to electricity. And we go there and we find women who are entrepreneurial, who want to take advantage of this opportunity to become the energy solution providers in their communities in their own little way. And we do this by distributing a range of clean energy products. So solar lamps, solar home systems, solar mobile phone charging systems, and also clean cook stoves. So these are a number of the things that we're doing in the community and being that access point. So a solar sister in a community is the energy provider. She's the one who is able to use the products and show other members of her community how the products work and how this is a solution to actually meet their energy challenge. So I think that's how we measure our success so far. In Nigeria, we've been able to reach over 800,000 beneficiaries with the clean energy products that we distribute, and we'll continue to do that. The problem is very large, and ours is to do our own bit to see how we can address this energy poverty.
All right, thank you so much. Before I move to the final question, for our guest, my name is Aibami Adidini, and I'm the founder of the Energy Intelligence. The Energy Intelligence is a media and research consultancy that sits at the heart of the most important conversations concerning a sustainable energy future that stakeholders across Nigeria and other parts of Africa are having. And today, this is the second episode of the African CEOs Insight, where we bring CEOs like Simbo and others for them to share strategies to a sustainable energy future. Okay, that's that. So the final question, as a Nigerian, you understand that Nigeria has a history of epileptic power supply. And in the last 2 months of 2021, what is your outlook for the Nigeria power sector in 2022?
Well, so for me, the outlook is double-edged. So I feel the outlook is bleak, but I also think it's promising. And why do I say it's bleak? So I say it's bleak because if you look at the potential that Nigeria has, if you look at all the investments, financial investments that historically we've made in the energy sector, we really should not be where we are today. I mean, we have, if you just look at the dollar or the naira figure of the amount of money that has been invested in the power sector, we should have powered Nigeria multiple times, once or twice, covering every single person. But that has not happened. We're still a country with almost 200 million people struggling with 4,000 megawatts of electricity. And that is appalling. That is bleak. That is something that even with all the policies and all the things that we've put in place hasn't really changed much in the last 12 15 years. Like, we might go a little bit to 6,000, come back to 4,000, before you know it, there's a national blackout and everybody's back to zero, and then we're starting over again. We're at 2,000. The whole of last night we had no electricity till this morning. So it is something that is a story that we shouldn't be telling in 2021, but we're still telling today. And so for me, that is disheartening. However, if we look at the strides especially in the private sector, and maybe I'll add the Rural Electrification Agency as a government agency also working on this challenge, I'll also include them in this. If we look at the innovations that have been coming out, if we look at the solutions that people have been bringing. So if I look at 7 years when I started Solar Sisters in Nigeria till today, I can see that there's a lot, the needle has moved, especially when you come to underserved communities and communities that had no interaction with clean energy prior. So I would say it's promising in that regard. I can say there's a lot more mini grid players right now. We've had our first commercial mini grid. We've had a lot of grant-backed mini grids that are serving multiple people at once. We have several players that are playing in the solar home system space that are providing solar home solutions individually to people. We have solar solutions that are productive use of energy solutions where people in the agricultural sector for the first time are able to use a clean source or able to use a sustainable source for their farming. So I think that there's a lot of innovation there. There's a lot of promising solutions in that regard. And if we can scale that, then the future is promising. But for 2022 that you asked, I mean, it's a work in progress. So I think it's really a mixed bag for me.
All right, thank you so much for being a part of this today. We do appreciate, and we hope that next time we call on you, you'll also be on this panel to discuss more on sharing the strategies to a sustainable energy future.
Sure, anytime.
All right. Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.